In its return, Jobless Reincarnation pretty much picks up where it left off, with Rudy squarely focusing on preparations to marry Sylphie. So, first topic for the recap is just Rudy having a new pep in his step, and it's something that pretty much everybody recognizes, from Zenoba to Julie, Cliff, pretty much everyone recognizes it, and they all surmise it's probably because he's gotten some. But in Rudy's defense, he was dealing with ED for quite some time, and now that that's over, he can really appreciate the other aspects of his life that are going well. He can appreciate being an A-rank adventurer, assumingly having money after all he's done as an adventurer all this time. And not only that, he's one of the strongest and smartest people within Renault University. And to add on to things, he's been communicating with his father a bit more, and the relationship seems to be healing, and reconciliation is definitely possible, even though you have to take note that they're continents apart, so it's not necessarily clear where the relationship is if they was in person, but we're left to assume that it's on a good path, so that when Rudy and Sylphie do have a marriage ceremony, more than likely his father will show up. But with the topic of the marriage leads to topic 2, which is Rudy trying to figure out what should the steps be to getting to the altar, because lest we forget, this is Rudy's second life, and in his first life, he wasn't dating, certainly wasn't engaged or getting married. And when it comes to family, it doesn't seem like he had the type of connection where he was asking questions, learning from example. He just went to school and then shut himself in his room. And granted, who knows what he did when he was a little kid versus when we saw him when he died, but you gotta keep these things in mind when it comes to this show, for even if we don't see the heavier set version of Rudy as much as we used to, that's still always something that's going to be in the back of his mind as he tries to make modifications to his life and completely try to disregard what he did in the past in order to be a better person in the present. That all aside, between Cliff and Zenoba and also Nanashi, Rudy gets differing takes of what he needs to do, and while Nanahoshi gives him the best answer in terms of what he should do when it comes to dating Sylphie and also the engagement, which is just spend time with them, unfortunately he talks to Cliff and Zenoba and they put into his head that he needs to get a house. So that's what he does. He gets this giant house not too far away from the university, which all things considered looks like it should belong to whoever the president of the university is, but that's a different story. Point of the matter is, he gets the house, and he gets the house rather cheaply because it's haunted. And the reason why people think it's haunted is because a lot of people died there, and also there's some type of mysterious doll that was made to protect the house. And as of this episode, it's not clued into us like who made the doll or why, but because of all Rudy's doing with Nanahoshi, then the marriage stuff, Cliff is working on trying to break the curse that's on his partner. Zenoba decides he needs to do the investigation because he wants to be more than just financing everything. He wants to actually contribute, because lest we forget, while he is a blessed child, he's not that dexterous, he has low mana, so he needs to find something that is more than monetary in terms of his value to the group. And since Rudy understands that, he lets him take the doll that he was able to stop from trying to kill them, and is going to let him do what he needs to do in order to figure out how the doll works, maybe who created it, and things of that nature. Which leads to the last topic, which is just Sylphie getting to see the house, and she loves the house, but one of the main problems for her is that she's still committed to the princess for 2 more years at the university, and then after that, they're not just going to go straight to Asura, however you pronounce it, right after that. They're going to continue probably a campaign in order to work her way back to the throne. And with that in mind, she knows she can't commit to the idea right now of being the wife who stays at home and bears as many children as Rudy wants. And Rudy gets that. After all, in the last episode or the episode before that, he made a commitment not just to her, but also to help the princess in regards to her trying to reclaim the throne. So even if they're off on an adventure, different continents, perhaps different worlds, with the way Nanahashi is trying to get back home, they're always going to have this home to come back to sooner or later. So get into the review section. Even though it's just a small throwaway line, I'm so happy that Rudy is trying to work on this relationship with Paul, his father, because with him being separated by continents, this being a world where cell phones and instant communication don't exist, he could easily just double down and focus on Sylphie, his work with Nanahashi, studies, and just leave his father behind, similar to the way how the show left his mother behind, but that's a different story. Anyway, but yeah, it's so good to see that he's working on that relationship, especially because, as said in the recap, Rudy has so many issues that are only going to get resolved when it comes to this show, not through therapy, but through him actually doing what he was afraid to do or didn't want to do in a past life. So in terms of having a better relationship with his parents, or his parents right now, it's about him reaching out, him making sure that the communication lines are still open, and making sure that Paul feels involved in his life, even if he can't take care of him, protect him, anything like that. And I can only hope that with the next episode seemingly being a wedding ceremony, that it gives Paul enough time to show up, because that would be a really beautiful moment. Maybe even something that would be tear-inducing. I'm not sure. Which leads to the second highlight, and that's, again, based off of what we know from Rudy's past. It's going to be very interesting to see how Rudy reacts to increased external pressure regarding who he is. And I mean this in the sense that since we met Rudy, he's been a bit of a perv. But he's been a bit of a perv as a child. Now he's an adult, and with him not having ED issues, ED being erectile dysfunction, now the question is, with people knowing he's in heat, him being around a lot of people who are active, will that lead to issues? Because we already saw once or twice that Sylphie has a little bit of a jealous side to her. So when you factor in that Rudy is now going to be seen as attractive, his pheromones are kicking off, and he didn't have this type of experience in his past life, will he find the temptation that's offered to him something he'll give into and cheat? Or will he be completely faithful to Sylphie and maintain that relationship and the course that it's on? It's a little bit hard to say, because you even have to factor in that when it comes to Eris, there's always a chance she could pop back into his life, and what she may say or do could also throw Rudy off. But again, like Rudy's mom, Eris is a character who we haven't really checked in with or know what's going on. So while that's always a factor to think of alongside all the other women that are at Renoa University, I'm on the side of hoping that he remains faithful to Sylphie. But knowing Rudy, especially because he is his father's son, the temptation probably is going to get to him at least once. But overall, like with the episodes we've seen thus far in this series, not just this season, we get the perfect highlight of watching a character grow, awkwardly at times, and you feeling continually rewarded for your patience as you watch them go step by step through trying to heal their trauma, be a better person, stumble along the way, and ultimately really honor the second opportunity they've been given.